put this clip up. I saw it this morning. Why I stopped playing FFXIV. Why stop playing FFXIV, Savix? He's playing WoW right now, which I am too, but I'm also like, I don't see myself stopping playing FFXIV at any point. Right now I'm playing it super casually and just kind of hopping in to do my island and doing my tribal quests here and there when I feel like it, and my retainers. Like, I'm on kind of maintenance mode, just chilling in the most casual way imaginable. Like, every now and then we'll go and do the variant dungeon paths, but that's nothing too crazy, nothing too time consuming while we're waiting for the patch. Can you imagine the views, reacts you get if you release a why I left XV video? Yeah, I mean, I could. Could just cash in on it while everybody else is. I'm not gonna do that though, because I haven't left. I'm not going anywhere. Stopping is a strong word. It gives a strong impression. Just saying taking a break. Yeah. Stop does not imply it's permanent. But let's just hear it out. I'll probably skip around because I did hear it this morning, but okay.
Every MMO runs out of content. Right. And that is the argument they make a lot, the players. Listen, I love FFXIV. I had a blast. Raids were super fun. I love
nice
the
smell.
character developments. But I feel like at the end, I've run out of things to do. And yes, every MMO, you run out of things to do. But at least WoW, you still have like Mythic Pluses and PvPs where I could spam and have fun. Gotta crush the ratings, of course. FF just didn't have that for me. I loved the game and I was on it all day long, but I couldn't find something to do, if that makes sense.
I mean, that's something that I've complained about a lot. And it's something that I feel like people coming from WoW, it's a little bit jarring once you get to endgame and you realize that there's going to be, like, it's just not set up in the same way at all for endgame. It's set up in the way that, like, you're expected to just wait for the content to come around. There's going to be slow patches. There's going to be content lulls. And if you're not used to that and you just fall in love with a game and you want to play it all the time and you want to be in it all the time and we do, like, spamming stuff and, like, doing all kinds of shit and all the time, but you're not really finding it. You're not finding, like, that sort of gameplay to be rewarded very much in FF. It can be jarring and, like, it's sort of hard to adjust to, I think. Another thing is, with World of Warcraft, one thing that even when I was sort of just not very interested in it, every now and then I would pop in to do, like, really casual farming of appearances and mounts and minions, just adding shit to the collections tab. Like, once a week you can pop in, try to kill a Lich King and leave, right? And that's sort of a evergreen replayable content that you have because of the way the collection system works in that game. And that's why I've always wanted FF to really improve the transmog system, like the glamour system, glamour collections, mount collections, minion collections, and stuff. Like, even let you preview in an appearance tab, like, what things do you not have that you might want to go get. Because a lot of times there were times when I logged into WoW and I was like, I just opened the appearance tab and like, oh, I don't have that. How do I get that? I'm gonna go and try to get that. Or you would do that with a mount, or you do that with a pet, right? I always wanted that for Final Fantasy because it seems like it would fit so well in FF as a game that's, like, giving you a lot of casual things to do that's on your own time. And so I think that's one thing that has added to WoW's replayability value that keeps you logging in all the time. Even though with WoW, it's a difference in design philosophies, because with Final Fantasy, yeah, there are a shitload of mounts and things, but usually it's the result of consistent effort. It's not about the gamba. It's the result of a reward for your consistent effort, or a reward for, like, completing some piece of content. And so I have all of that stuff in Final Fantasy already. Like, all that stuff that I've wanted that I could put the effort into, and or I could just farm out. I've been able to do that. Like, with every minion from every dungeon in Endwalker, every mount that I've wanted, I've been able to get through my effort put in. It's not about, like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna try to kill this boss with a 1% chance and maybe I'll get it. But the thing is, with that different design philosophy that WoW has regards to collections, it does definitely make those journeys much, much longer. Like, it definitely does make it take way longer for you to get that kind of stuff. And so there's pros and cons to this kind of a system, but that's just one example, right? I think that at the very least, having the glamour that you could hunt down in game to fill out your collections would be so nice to have in 14. I think it would help alleviate this problem that we're seeing right now with a lot of people feeling like there's just not a lot to do, even in a casual way. I mean, let me rephrase. Not a lot to do after you're done with like raiding and all the stuff that you've already wanted to do. I think it's a problem that mostly affects people that have been playing a really long time more than newer players, because when you're new, there's still a shitload of stuff. Like, if you're new, you might have Eureka still to do, you might have Baja still to do, you might have like just many hours left of stuff that like you haven't even scratched the surface of. But you play for a certain number of years, and you do reach a point where you're just like, feel like you're at this just waiting for the next patch to come around. And personally, I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that. But
like I kept logging on, right? I kept logging on.
You said FFXIV lacks randomness. It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah, I completely agree. I
already had Crystal. We cleared DSR. We did everything possible. I logged on, and all I really did was stand in front of the house and just stand. And that's like 90% of the player, dude. Like, my neighbor, they log in, slash, what is that thing where you like go against the wall?
Lean,
lean thingy, and they just sit there. They're like statues until somebody walks them and talks, and then they start talking, right?
Well, there's G pose
statue too, so I was like, dude,
you can become a sexy statue, and you can be a G pose though. So that's one thing that you could do. You could try going inside your house and decorating it. There's plenty of people that spend their time decorating houses. Like, that's a whole section of the community. Is they spend literally they never run out of content ever, because they just sit around decorating houses nonstop. I mean, you do need a house for that, but that is out there.
I can't play this anymore. I need like fun stuff. So I went to play Lost Ark, and Lost Ark was a blast.
Lost Ark. You said this is why almost every single friend I have, once they're done with the FF14 story, they leave for Guild Wars 2, Steam games, WoW, or other games. When a new expansion comes to FF14, they catch up quickly and finish the new expansion. Repeat. So they just come back for the expansions only. But what about the patches? The patches are pretty stacked in this game. Like, usually the patches are pretty chunky. There's a ton of stuff in every patch, honestly. So I feel like it's worth coming back for those. You said, for a work-life balance, I love FF14 as my #1 game, MMO. I can finish a raid tier, finish gear, and not fall behind for the next X months of not playing. Yeah, that's nice. That is nice. That's refreshing. I would not necessarily want FF14 to change that much from what it does. Yes, I would like them to improve the collecting stuff, but if it were a lot different, and if it did try to suck up a lot more of your time, like in an aggressive way, it would be very difficult for me to play 3 MMOs at the same time. I'm literally playing 3 MMOs, and I love being able to do that. I love not feeling pressure from FF, but I guess it is a question of how much pressure is needed, how much is too little pressure. How do you keep someone entertained and like that is really dedicated, they want to keep doing stuff. They don't necessarily want to feel super pressured into it, but they would just want to have the options there. You know what I mean? It's a very difficult balancing act that they have.
90% of the private sector. Yeah, it's kind of like that, I guess. Flash lean. Listen, I loved FF, but I just ran out of things to do. I just ran out of things. FF. I do want to play it again, but I don't know what I would do if I go back, right?
So he's just going to wait for the patch,
Roleplay,
basically. It's like, I want to play again, but I don't know what to do. So he's just waiting for Yoshi to offer more stuff.
That's why if I wasn't a streamer or YouTuber, I think I'd play FF. But as a streamer, YouTuber, I need to fuel my content. And I don't think I can just RP and type and smash my PP.
Oh, wait, what? What? But not all the
I hate the
roleplay
colors in
is.
FF, but I respect. You get used to it. I didn't like it at first too, but you get used to it.
What the?
We're fine with
Not all the roleplay makes you smash your pee-pee, Savix.
PvP. FF content is also bad. Besides a few community can't make YouTube content. You would ERP 100%. I haven't ERP'd ever, chat. I haven't ERP'd ever because I wanted to try it, but I'm afraid. Yeah.
You said FFXIV's issue for a lot of people is that the end game is basically what you make of it. There isn't a, you have to do this. I think a lot of people struggle with decision paralysis. Just take breaks because of the lack of direction. With WoW, it's easy. You raid, done. Not necessarily. I mean, yes and no. The thing is, I think with WoW has a lot of different ways for you to get power upgrades for your character and things that will make you feel like, oh, I'm really glad that I did that. Like, there's a lot of like little tiny moments of excitement for you and the different kinds of loot that you can get. There's just way different types of loot for you available out there, right? Like right now they have the pre-patch event, and the pre-patch event gives away like free catch-up loot for people, and that's exciting for someone who didn't play for a while. You come back and then you kill a boss and you get a free piece of loot. It feels good, and it doesn't feel like you had to work too hard for it. They're good at like getting people hooked on the dopamine. Really are better at that in general. And what's the other part of the pre-patch? It's like, oh, if you kill the 4 different bosses, then you can get the trinket, and there's like the new dungeon that's out that also gives the upgrades too. But then again, I mean, every now and then we have the dungeons that do give the catch-up loot. Also, I think it's just more about like, how consistent can it be? One of the things that people really criticized the Criterion dungeon for, the Criterion Savage for, was the rewards. And some people had suggested, oh, well, maybe this could have been an opportunity for them to add some more interesting like upgrades for people through that more difficult content. Like maybe even just for right side accessories, I heard some people suggesting like ways to spice this up a bit more outside of just like, you know, in general, people didn't seem to care very much for the mount, and they felt like it wasn't rewarding enough of the time spent and the effort spent. And so I feel like it's sort of an issue that FF has to look at. Like, how do we motivate players to do the content without making them feel like it's a FOMO, right? Maybe they should take some lessons from Guild Wars and look at the way Guild Wars does the horizontal progression. Because if they want to keep the itemization structure very strict, like it is right now and very structured, then maybe horizontal progression might be a better path to take forward. Not wanting to copy what WoW does, not wanting people to feel like they're, you know, they need to do this, this, and that, but giving them maybe different options for different play styles and things, different like fun stuff unlocking for them, even different modes of travel unlocking for them. It's like sort of they need to add something just to spice things up in terms of the feeling of progression that anybody can quickly get, not necessarily from raiding, but from all kinds of different new content in the game.
No Cove, I never ERP'd, dude. I'm afraid. Didn't you force me to ERP as well? No, I didn't. That is bullshit, dude. Afraid to become one with the cat girl. I will say, dude, their cat girl, bunny girl, they're super hot, man. But I know that behind.
Did Savix do every ultimate? He did clear Dragon Song ultimates. I don't know about the other ultimates that he's done. Every extreme, every savage. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see where you're coming from. Saying that like the game has 20,000 hours of content. There's a ton of like ultimates, extremes, and savages to do. But a lot of people won't be interested in doing past extremes or past savages. I think he does actually mention Criterion in this video.
Computer. And
the thing is that, yeah, there is a lot of stuff out there, but then there's the question of what's going to catch someone's eye, what are they going to personally be interested in putting their time into, and like what's going to motivate them to do that. Will the rewards be appealing for them? Because some people are just not interested in doing something if it doesn't have like a decent reward. And I kind of am in that category. Like, I'm not the type of person, like, I don't really enjoy doing minimum item level runs of content just for the experience of doing it. I prefer to do something that's going to give me something cool at the end. Like T, I did because I thought the weapon was really pretty. But if the weapon wasn't really pretty, I probably wouldn't have done it. For me, it was about the glam at the end of the day. And I just can't really be bothered to do the minimum item level stuff if there's not a good reward attached to it. Or even like the Criterion Savage, I didn't think the rewards were that interesting for me. So for me, that wasn't enough to push me to do that very much, because it's pretty significant amount of effort and time. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. There's never going to be like a type of content that every single person is going to want to do. It is going to be subjective at the end of the day as well. In general, though, I feel like what FF does tends to work more or less. Like, their philosophy and their strategy does seem to work for the most part, where, you know, you play for the patch, you get hyped on all the patch content, you do, you know, maybe do a Savage tier, maybe do the Alliance race till you get all the glam from it, and then you can take a little break if you want. Like, that's the way that I've been approaching it.
I do miss FF chat. I don't hate the game. Don't get the wrong idea. I just ran out of stuff to do. And people always bring up saying, oh, Yoshi P wants you to take breaks from the game. But I think that's a flawed system, because if I love a game like I love WoW, I want to stay on that game forever, right? Just never log off and do stuff. FF players, there's a lot of players that want to like stay on and be on it forever, right? And they should have a little bit more biscuits to chew on.
I mean, I feel like I've said that in the past. I feel like I have said that. I think most recently I said it in regards to Island Sanctuary, because I really loved my Island Sanctuary. And I felt like after a certain point, I didn't have a lot of reasons to go back and keep doing it. Like, I could get all the mounts and minions and stuff. And I mean, yeah, I made my own personal goal of going back for my alligators. And so, like, I'm filling up my farm with alligators, and that's extended the duration of the content for me. But I mean, this makes sense to me. Yeah, you said, but it's not healthy to actually stay playing a game forever. Healthy or not, I think it's a way that MMO players, we're almost programmed to see things that way and to expect that. You said, does FFXIV have Mythic Plus now? I heard there was some new mode. It's not Mythic Plus. It's Criterion and Criterion Savage. And it's pretty fun. Like, I did it. But people, it's not exactly like a long-term content. Like, it doesn't seem to be that popular right now, because I guess the people that wanted to get their mount already did. And it's just not something that people are going back and doing every day, as far as I can tell. I'm sure there's still a couple people still around doing it, but in general, the general community feedback that I heard about it was that the rewards weren't enough to keep people going.
I just couldn't find that biscuit to chew on.
Yeah, it's not like
and
Mythic
then whenever
Plus.
I bring that up, they're like, oh, Yoshi P doesn't want you to play this game forever, so go play different games and come back later. But I don't want to come back later. I want to keep playing and do fun stuff there. I did see them try to add Mythic Plus stuff, but I heard the rewards are not that good.
Yeah.
So people stopped doing them. I just want something to chew on. If they have something to chew on that I like, first they need to get rid of the lag stuff in PvP. There's like delays. But I don't think that's ever happening, right?
Okay, so basically, he stopped playing it for now because he really loves it and he wants to keep playing it. So he's just waiting for stuff to pop up that he can do again, which is how, like, honestly, a shitload of players have that attitude towards the game. So I don't necessarily know if I would say that it's like, I'm quitting video. I don't think it's that. He's just like explaining why he's not playing it right now. There's tons to do in FF14, but there might not be a lot to do that someone personally wants to do. But I don't think that's a fixable problem. There will always be someone who doesn't want to do certain content. I mean, that's true. There is always going to be people that are not interested on what's on offer. But I do feel like this is sort of a recurring thing that I've heard. And it's sort of something that, like I said at the beginning, I feel it too. But I'm just at peace with approaching the game in a really casual way for long stretches. And then at other times when there's more to do that I'm interested in, by the way, just to clarify, then I'll go a lot harder on it. But it's just, I've learned to go with the flow of the way that it waxes and wanes. Like sometimes the tide is high, sometimes the tide is low. And I just sort of adjust the way that I play according to that. And maybe if I have more time to do other stuff, then I'll go play another game. It is sort of the spectrum, right? Between a game that doesn't really force you to do anything and is extremely low pressure and it's up to you to set all of your own goals. And that's perfect for a lot of people. It's like not asking a whole lot of you. It's something that's generally really loved about FFXIV. But then on the other extreme, you can have a situation where the game is like really aggressively forcing you into all kinds of stuff and like FOMO shit, not respecting your time at all. And it can get to the point where like you feel like you have to do this, this, and this, or you're going to fall behind. Like you won't be able to keep up because if you don't do what the game tells you to do, then you're not going to be able to do any kind of content that you want. So like there's these two extremes. And I feel like with Dragonflight, I'm more interested in it because, wow, they've said that they want to move like away from that, like closer this way. I feel like somewhere in the middle is probably the place to be. And WoW will probably be always a little bit towards the right side. I mean, like in this direction. And Final Fantasy will always be more on the left side. So I guess what we're really discussing is like how much further in does Final Fantasy need to get? They tried to fix that lull with the Criterion stuff, but they failed. It took like, honestly, the Criterion stuff, I have never, I think in all my time playing Final Fantasy, I don't think I've ever seen a new piece of content lose popularity so fast. Like, it was like a week later, nobody was talking about it anymore. Even maybe days later, nobody was really talking about it anymore. In fact, when I logged in for the patch, I found out, like by the time I logged in on patch day, I found out that Mike, like from Preach Gaming, he already had his Selkie mount from the variant dungeon. When I logged in that day on patch day, starting the stream, so people were like, "Oh yeah, Mike, he's already got his Selkie." So he was already done with it in hours after. And he said that he was not even, I told him that, and he said that he wasn't rushing it at all. I wish that there were more reasons to get people to keep doing something for a longer period of time. But it's a thing that I've been complaining about that, and I've been bringing that up for like years now. Like they do it with pretty much every new piece of content that there is. There's always the same opinions about it from people that want to sink their teeth into the content for longer. You could say it with Island Sanctuary, with like people wanted more reasons to stick around and sink their teeth into that and find more reasons to keep going back for like weeks, months later. People said it with the Unreal Trials, where when they first released it, people were like, oh, well, people are just going to go in, they're going to get their loot, or they'll buy the loot from the market board that you can buy from the faux leaves, and then they're not going to do it anymore. They did it with PvP when they released new PvP rewards. Everybody was like, well, everyone's just going to get their PvP rewards from, like, I think the first time that I did it, I got all the rewards within a week or two. And then I was good. I got everything I wanted. So I was good on that. So, like, I mean, the rewards are important. The rewards really do. I think they really do matter. I mean, there's a lot to be said for people wanting to do the content because it's fun. And there's content in this game that I will absolutely always do because it's fun. And that is like BA, Goddess and Arsenal. I'm always going to be there for that. I don't care. Like, I already have the loot from it, but I'll always do it because it's fun. That's all well and good. But you also need, like, I think more ways to incentivize your players in the long term without making them feel like they have to. You know, just a little bit more. It's a little bit of something. A little bit of biscuits to chew on, as Savix said. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to ask for that and to want that.